Have you ever wanted to step back in time and see your favorite racetracks, see how they were in their heydays, in their prime, and how they would race with some of the best drivers of today's era? Well, tonight, we get to see that fate as the North Wilkesboro Speedway from 1987 is all set to host the first race of 2020 Season 3 of the Bootleg Racing League Grand National Series live on the Global SimRacing Channel. The question is going to be, who will win tonight's race? We'll find out as the evening progresses. I'm Justin Prince, so on side of the booth tonight is Devin Henry. Behind the scenes is our director, Sean Ambrose, and he's using cameras provided by Dougie Beer. With such a historic racetrack, let's take a look towards your GSRC lap guide for the best way to race around such a historic and natured place.
North Wilkesboro is a legend in the world of NASCAR, the very first NASCAR sanctioned track. Before falling into the clutches of NASCAR's expansion of the mid to late 90s, NASCAR Cup cars made 2 trips here a year. Petty, Allison, Waltrip, Earnhardt, Bonnet, Gordon. The list of winners here reads of NASCAR's legends. North Wilkesboro opened as a dirt track, having the same shape that it does to this day. In the late 50s, it was paved. This is when it became the track we know of today. This 5/8 mile oval is known for keeping a lot of speed on entry into those 14-degree bank corners. For a long part of NASCAR's early years, this was one of the fastest short tracks around, and with it, the unique characteristic, partly a result of lack of funds when they first cut the track. You go downhill on the front stretch and uphill on the back stretch. Also, the 2 corners aren't the same radius, but you might not notice that as much at speed. While North Wilkesboro is mostly known for Cup cars, other NASCAR divisions ran here over the years. Grand National had a few races. The trucks were here for 2 races before the speedway shut down. Modifieds also made some trips to North Wilkesboro. In the attempted restart in 2010, several late model and super late model series held races here, but it wasn't to be, and the speedway fell silent. Until now, thanks to the efforts of Dale Earnhardt Jr. and iRacing, North Wilkesboro breathes life again in this virtual world, as it did in 1987. Now it's time for the Blue Ridge Mountains to hear the thunder again here on GSRC.
That was a look at your GSRC lap guide for North Wilkesboro Speedway. Now let's bring in my broadcast partner, Devin Henry. This is such a historic place where these drivers are ready to race around a blast from the past that many fans want to see once more.
And this is going to be a blast in the race car as well. This is just an absolutely wild track. It has so much character here on this 5/8 mile oval. Opened back in 1947 as a dirt track and actually was a part of the inaugural NASCAR Cup Series schedule back in 1949. I mean, these drivers, every half lap are facing something different. When you're going through that downhill front straightaway, you make that 90-degree left-hand turn, or I guess 180, excuse me. Then you're going uphill down the back straight. And of course, since this is a 1987 made track, you got to watch out for the grass in those turns banked at 14 degrees. If you clip that grass in the corner on the back straightaway, man, Justin, you're going for a ride.
Remember, the grandstands in turns 1 and 2 were not constructed until the 1990s, and the pit entrance wasn't extended to the entrance of turn 3 until 1995. As these drivers get ready for some great racing, I'd like to remind you of the series sponsor, the Cruise Shop. They're an experienced team of highly experienced travel agents that have a huge passion for travel. The Cruise Shop specializes in cruises, all-inclusive resorts, escorted tours, Disney, family travel, groups, honeymoons, and weddings. They would love the opportunity to help you plan your next dream vacation. Call them today at 260-755-6125. As these drivers get ready for a brand new season of Grand National Series action in the Bootleg Racing League, let's take a look at how last season fared for these competitors. J.R. Shepard herded the field and won the championship with 358 total points. James Lowe finishing second with Morden, Moore, and Brian Dent rounding out the top 5 in the point standings, separating about 104 total points in the campaign. One of the drivers who competed in that championship And looking to battle tonight is Joe Sagawa. Joe driving the number 81 machine tonight. Joe, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, thank you.
First of all, happy Father's Day today. Having thank you, Dad, on that race car. How are you feeling about the brand new season for the Grand National Series?
Really excited about it. Hoping to do better this season than what I did last season.
With that, how do you look to improve that? You mentioned the need to improve. What are your plans to try and do that improving and show that strong performance, some strong performances in season 3 of 2020?
Cut back on my mistakes that I've made. I made quite a few mistakes last season. Getting that penalty late, I was really looking forward to South Boston, but that's in the past. And hopefully this season, get better at the tracks, be more competitive. I like it when I can get up there and run with JR and Bobby and those guys. I know I can keep up with them. I just don't think I can quite get to them and pass them.
Tonight, North Wilkesboro, for many drivers, it's a new challenge. This track just came out in early June to all members in iRacing, the iRacing NASCAR iRacing Pro Invitational to be precise, getting the chance to run it in late May. Your thoughts on how this track will be tonight?
Turn 4 is going to be what to watch. Everybody's getting loose off of 4. That's what it's been in the other 2 races beforehand. So turn 4 is going to be the turn to watch tonight.
Indeed. Anything else you'd like to add before let you get back to focusing on practice before we hit the racetrack tonight?
Yeah, just talking about the paint scheme that I'm running tonight. I lost my dad back in 2017, and he's the one that got me into racing. The first race that I had ever seen was the 87 Daytona 500. Later that year, he took me to the Rockford Speedway for the first time that I can remember. And so I thought it would be fitting to have a paint scheme like this. He owned a Bowler's Pro Shop and wanted to sponsor a car, be the primary sponsor, couldn't afford to be the primary sponsor. So I built him a model car where he was the primary sponsor, and that's the paint scheme that I'm running tonight. He picked out the colors, picked out the scheme. All I did was put it together and everything for him.
Very touching story, Joe. Thank you very much for the time. Good luck tonight. Hopefully we see you put that paint scheme in victory lane.
That would be awesome. Thank you, guys.
It's Joe Sagawa joining us here in the broadcast booth. Under 5 minutes to go in practice. With that, let's take a look towards tonight's details. And keep in mind, one thing of note, the first race of 11 tonight, but it's also race 3 of the Moonshine Challenge, Devin.
Yes, the Moonshine Challenge takes into consideration all the races over the course of this calendar year at Martinsville and North Wilkesboro. J.R. Shepard has a win, Justin Morton has a win, but right now Shepard is currently ahead in the point standings by 8 points. And when it comes to the BRL here in the Grand National Series, every single race is 100 laps, no tire changes allowed in this series. And probably my favorite part about what these guys do, you start in the finishing order of the previous race, except the top 8 is inverted. And for J.R. Shepard, that gives him about an average start of 8th typically.
In other words, that's going to mean a lot of traffic to get around. And when it comes to North Wilkesboro, there are different ways you can try and make passes. It's all come down to preference from talking with many drivers and many different types of cars, because you can run the bottom line, paint that white line in some of the corners and get some good runs, while others like to pinch and be able to get runs off the middle line on corner exit.
And right now you're seeing so many of these guys struggle, especially on the exits of these corners. We already know on a short track how important throttle control is when you're coming off the corners, but even more so here at North Wilkesboro, as you see them go uphill here in the back straightaway. It's a completely different feel on corner exit when you're coming off into a downhill on the front straightaway, as Shepard gives a little wiggle there off of turn 4. Joe Sagawa said it, turn 4 is going to be a problem spot here at North Wilkesboro. It doesn't matter what kind of car you are in, but it is possible to use a more outer line and be able to compete with some of the guys on the inside line. It will also depend on what parts of the track happen to rubber up.
Let's take a look towards the weather conditions to see how these drivers will have to deal with it. And keep in mind, one of the main details is, for the race, no track usage, which means a green racetrack. 99 degrees Fahrenheit is currently the track temp. 73 degrees Fahrenheit is the air temp with partly cloudy skies. So the question's going to be, when will those clouds cycle on through? We'll have to wait and see. But in other words, as more drivers slip and slide off of turn 4, it's fairly decently hot on the track.
And these guys are going to be vying for grip all race long. As you saw Bobby Rafferty there get sideways off of 4 himself. Yeah, that's the one thing about these tires. Since there is no tire changes, these will wear out throughout the race, while at the same time you are also getting rubber down on the track. And usually here in BRL, it's night races, but these past couple of days, whether it be the Dirt Street Stock Series, the Sprint Car Series, or here in the Grand National Series, daytime races, and so it's hotter than usual as opposed to when the lights are on and the sun is down. So grip is going to be changing throughout the race as the rubber goes down, the tires wear off, and the track at the exact same time is also heating up.
Still following along with some of the drivers, this is Donnie Moore, who's currently 11th in the practice session with an 18.441 his quickest time. On average, the times of the 18.1s to 18.4s by many of these competitors. And it's a chance for a fresh start for these said drivers for tonight, and there's varying different levels of experience. Remember, this is an invitational-only series for the Bootleg Racing League with many competitors who have raced here. This field tonight has a mixture of various different levels of top oval racers, the series veterans, as well as, in the case of, say, Justin Morden along with Bobby Rafferty, drivers you normally see on the dirt more so than the pavement.
And the Bootleg Racing League has been around for so many years. These drivers come from so many backgrounds, and so many of these drivers have raced with BRL for a large number of years. These aren't just some scrubs who signed up for a league. This is the premier series, a part of the Bootleg Racing League. And so these guys are driving the fastest car that these guys run on some of the most difficult short tracks that they run. And it's just a really fun group of drivers who not only have raced with each other for a long time, so have a lot of respect for one another, but also have a ton of skill, and they will be tested tonight at this North Wilkesboro track.
Well, 30 seconds to qualify. By the way, the driver you're just following along with is one of those who has some of the higher in real world experience, Jason Menda, in the field, whether it's been at various different short tracks as well as working as a crew member at Daytona for one team, as well as running, mind you, as well as a firefighter for 25 years. But with that, these drivers about to run their way through towards the starting grid for tonight. Again, 100 laps, top 8 invert based on the results of the last race. We'll see how the opener for 2020 Season 3 fares and how these drivers will line up in just a moment. Again, the fastest in practice of note, James Lowe, J.R. Shepard, Justin Morden, Brian Den, and Mike Holloway, inside that grouping. With the invert for the grid tonight, the top 8 all set to go. It's Bruce Pearson, who is all set to begin a brand new season in the first race in Bootleg Racing League action at North Wilkesboro. Mike Holloway starts in second spot with Austin Balke in third position. Laurel Jewell starts in fourth spot with Donnie Moore inside the top 5. Justin Morden from TDR starts in sixth with James Lowe in seventh spot. Shepard, the most recent champion, starting, as mentioned, in P8 with his dominant performances. Ruben Altis starts in ninth, and Todd Liston rounds out the top 10 to Devon.
Brian Dean in the black 23 will start off in 11th. Joe Segala, we talked to him in the Happy Father's Day, number 81 in 12th. Kurt Smith will start inside row 7 in the Valvoline number 6. Bobby Rafferty in the white 77 will start off in 14th. Jason Menda is inside row 8 in the Richard Petty looking number 45. Jeffrey Harden will start outside of him in 16th in the blue 44. Rounding out our field tonight, but starting in the back here on pit road, a little bit of late entry here for the black number 30 of Michael Redding. Your field tonight here at North Wilkesboro.
One more pace lap before we go green. Mind you, we're here at North Wilkesboro Speedway, as mentioned, opened in 1940s, in the 1940s, 1947, broke ground in 1945, closed most recently in 2011, but hosted many of the big names for competition, whether it's been Petty, Earnhardt, Yarborough, Labonte, and many others, including some of the young up-and-comers of the early 2010s and 2000s raced here in various different classes. But with that, it's time to go racing. It's the Mission 22 machine in control of the field. Here, Bruce Pearson, Mike Holloway in the Granger American red cross car on the outside. Green flag is out. We're underway.
Pearson, great run on that inside line, but Holloway, a phenomenal run on the outside to keep up with him. But here comes Lowell Jewell on the inside. The boss man himself has moved into third. Justin, how about this cloud coverage? Maybe a little bit of help here on cold tires.
-3 on the track, 10 for the drop of the green flag, plus lap traffic. That is Redding, who started from the pit lane, who's now at the bottom of the racetrack, moving out of the way of the leaders. It's now forced them up to the middle line, though. Top 3 on that line. Jewell trying to use the bottom, slams the wall, collected by Shepard, spins around, caution flag is out. Segala also collected in the aftermath.
Segala gets in there, but there's Lowell Jewell who first, he must have got loose off of turn 4 there and just overcorrected or something here as we take a watch of the replay here on your GSRC screen. Yeah, might just got a little loose. He got off the corner a little low and it just snapped to the right side. Let's take a look on board here.
Yeah, just a massive overcorrection to the right. Devin just felt that back end going and just overcorrected all the way to the right.
And I think that either had to do that. I don't know how Joe Segala necessarily wound up in that, but of course that was right in the very front of the field. So here's the onboard for Joe Segala watching this, coming off of 4. Oh, there's a car there, and he overcorrects himself.
Hard slam to the wall, and as you can tell, this is a car that has the most recent damage model on iRacing. That left front tire also broken. Now, one thing to note, these drivers do have a fast repair for tonight. So if they are in an incident, they can come in, replace the hood pins, get the damage fixed. But again, if you use it early, you lose it for the rest of the race, and that can cause a lot of attrition depending on how treacherous turn 4 ends up being for a lot of these competitors like it was in practice.
Yeah, this is the last thing you want to have to do is put a quick repair in 3-4 laps into the race of a 100-lap event where we saw in practice so many guys having a hard time handling this machine, revving out at turn number 4, and much less just... This track is going to get difficult. I mean, just the fact that you lose your tire wear, but then the fact that both sides of this track are completely different, the uphill and the downhill. It's like you're running 2 different 5/8 mile tracks over the course of 1 lap. It almost feels like a 200-lap race just because you have so many differing conditions on the opposite sides of the track. It's just weird to me. This track has so much character.
And that's why it's so beloved by many old school racing fans and even new school fans in most recent years. But hey, if you want to renovate the track and bring it up to its glory days, just bring $50 million at least and you can try and do it.
Yeah, you can try. What was that? Speedway Motorsports Incorporated, SMI, does own the property technically, so it is under a major brand, major title, I guess I should say. So yeah, there's still that potential. Of course, you've had Save the Speedway vying for over a decade, try to get this track back, but we are just so fortunate to be able to have this in the iRacing platform here, and we're able to have a little bit of the past. And I love the fact that iRacing chose 1987. They could have said, we are going to take the most recent, say, 96 or something like that, or exactly as it is now, but spruced up. But no, they decided to go back for the full throwback. And guys like me who weren't around in 87 get to actually feel what this was like back in 1987.
And so many of the users on iRacing, mind you, when they had the North Wilkesboro Challenge, when this track officially came out, lots of drivers getting a chance to try it out for themselves. Some of them ran thousands of laps around here alone. But these drivers are about to run some more laps themselves. 1 to go. Pearson in control of the field. On the bottom side again, Holloway on the outside. Morton, Bulky, and Moore round out the top 5 positions on this restart. Green flag is out. Back to racing once again for North Wilkesboro.
Great jump by Pearson, but Holloway again just has a phenomenal launch. J.R. Shepard way up out of the groove, and he's going to lose a handful of spots here. Still in the wall, something majorly wrong on that Sunoco number 98.
Able to make the pass. And let's see what happened to Shepard. Not the way he wanted to start Season 3 of the 2020 campaign. And keep an eye on the exit. And the entrance of Turn 1 just drifted up the track. Already had the hood popping up.
Wow, I wonder where he got that down to. I did not see him in that last incident, and the car just doesn't turn at all into turn number 1. your two-time defending champion is going to have to go to the pits, and he is behind the field here, and we're under yellow as well now.
So a caution came out just as we were showing that replay. After trouble happened in the middle of turn 1 and 2, the 45 Amenda ended up losing the back end in spinning at the end of the top 10. Had to bounce back and forth before he finally lost in the exit of turn 2, as you'll see right here.
Once again, this is just a case of too much gas on entrance there. The rear tires come out from under him. Oh, he almost had that saved, and then he almost runs into the wall there. Not so fortunate set of circumstances there as you're just trying to run that outside lane, not rubber down, and around you go. And this is extremely fortunate for J.R. Shepard. He more than likely should have went down a lap at the pace he's running. Now he has a chance to go under caution, get that fast repair, get himself back in this race.
But now we'll have to try and cut all the way from 17th on the racetrack, with still plenty of laps to go, coming to the end of lap 12 this time by Menda now in 16th position. And it's going to be the question again, with there being no tire changes allowed, how will those tires fare the rest of the way since they've already been heated up from that bubble?
Oh yeah, and I know iRacing doesn't do a phenomenal job at feeling flat spots on your tires, but still they do a good job of making sure that you are aware that those tires are worn, and that's not going to be helpful here for these next 88 laps we still have to go here.
And plenty of others trying to keep their tires warmed as well. You can see with the back and forth, that's Elson Balke trying to warm up his tires. Of course, Balke, the 22-year-old from Warren, Michigan, a co-op engineer, having a good run so far and taking advantage of that track position. He's been able to hold on to third with the quick caution flag so far in this race.
So it looks like Shepard's damage actually came. Lowell Jewell had a little bit of contact on the rear end. I just did not notice that. That was the 98, maybe a little bit of neck coat involved there, so was a part of the 19 there getting around, and that's where his initial damage came from, and now he's going to have to come from 16th here.
For the first caution?
Yes, from that first caution.
So that's where the damage came from, and that's the reason now he's back in the field. Kurt Smith also elected to come down and go to the back of the field himself. So Shepard will have to cut his way from 16th spot. This green flag. Holloway, though, is in control of the field after taking the lead on the last restart. Major launch on the bottom. Back to racing we go.
Yeah, that's the kind of jump you want to get on the green flag. And how about that familiar looking number 24 on the inside? Austin Belke running the paint scheme of the guy who won the last NASCAR Cup Series race. Now, it was a Rainbow Warrior back then, but still a little bit of vibes, old school vibes going from that paint scheme, adorning the driver who last won a Cup Series race here at North Wilkesboro, Jeff Gordon.
Such a legendary paint scheme in that own right as well, with the flames, especially screams early 2000s NASCAR. He's looking to scream on the bottom of the track, still can't get clear. Pearson doing a really good job of holding on to that middle line as we talked about with the squeeze.
And right now Holloway is loving what he's seen in his rear view mirror, almost a 1 second advantage, running the fastest lap of the race so far. Bruce Pearson finally gets away from Belke, now hops back down to the bottom of the track.
Trouble at the back of the field. Redding just shuffled up to the wall in the 30 car. He's got severe damage. We stay green. Again, he was in 13th spot, trying to make a move on the outside of Jewell, but again, we stay green.
Justin Morn right now on the outside lane, the black, white, and red number 9, trying to put pressure on Bruce Pearson for that second position. Got a little bit outside of his lane, trying to make that outside work. Great momentum, crosses over into turn 1. Able to move Pearson out of his lane now. Justin Morn, who earned his first ever Grand National win last season at Martinsville, one of just 3 different winners ever here in the 22 races so far in the Grand National Series.
One of the top dirt racers on iRacing of no trouble behind him. A bit of a drift. That was the 26 of Donnie Moore, who nearly smacked the inside wall. Able to avoid it, though, as the battle continues for some of these drivers.
This outside lane right now is just not working. It's James Lowe now makes a move for third place, going around Bruce Pearson. And now Pearson is going to fall into the grasp of Austin Belke here momentarily. Got into turn 1 a little deep there, and here comes the 24 on the inside.
Couldn't get to the inside of Pearson. Here's a look now from Austin Belke this time. Again, that he's in 5th spot. Belke now in single file, trying to build up a run once again on the 96. He has lost 3 positions for the drop of the green flag.
And Belke's even got, you can see in the mirror, he's got the flame helmet on there as well, and he is flirting dangerously close to that grass. If you just clip that grass, it will come out, bite you, and spin you around. He now has to move to the outside as Todd Liston looks to the inside.
Liston with some good momentum on the bottom side. Tries to send it a bit more harder, a bit of a squeeze once again for Bulky, but once more, the bottom line seeming like the better line so far. That's also Brighton behind them, and also a throwback paint scheme. That's a throwback to one of the Bill Davis Racing paint schemes from their first seasons when MBNA America was the sponsor.
Yeah, we often see Belky run a little bit older 24 scheme or a custom turquoise 24 scheme, but yeah, that 23 of Dean, it stays that way. It was like that all year last year, so he's a big fan of that paint scheme. Todd Liston right now, he usually runs his red, white, and blue, and right now being third in the Moonshine Challenge points, him and Morin have a chance here to gain some points on J.R. Shepard, but that 98 is already back up to the 9th position, Justin.
Yeah, that's slowly closing in. You see him in the Sunoco Ford Fusion in the backdrop, just right behind Donnie Moore at the moment. But Liston finally clear in the 87. That takes away the top 5 to the top being Liston, a strong driver in his own right, mind you. Up towards the front, though, Hallway, he's ran away with the space, but he's losing about half a tenth to a tenth of a second to Justin Morton.
Yeah, Morin's able to get a little bit of a drive. I think he's coming off a corner exit, but still has about a 1.5 second deficit to make up. But these top 3 or 4 have really started to spread across from each other here as we watch Justin Morin try to send out that reel and try to hook onto and reel in Mike Holloway. He's got plenty of race to do it, though.
Gotta love the sound of the engines roaring here in North Wilkesboro. But he's been putting in times again, consistently. 1/10 of a second quicker. 18.8 last time, later ran an 18.9. Those were 2 of the quicker times on the racetrack, mind you.
But now you also got to put into consideration reeling someone in responsibly. And by responsibly, I mean not killing your tires. Who knows how much brake and how much steering input Mike Holloway's putting in right now compared to Justin Morton. So if Justin Morton can make up this extra 1.2 seconds still remaining in this gap, how much tire is he going to lose doing it?
P6 is now heating up. That's where Shepard and company are. And guess what? He's already found his way around Moore for 8th. Now he wants 7th. Dean stuck on the top side as the foreman of a tree and landscape company looks to ride the top. Really pushes up the track as Shepard tries to take away the spot with the bobble as well for Bulky.
He's already on the inside, so I guarantee you he already has his eyes on the 22 Michigander in front of him of Austin Belky. That 98 is oh so fast and is already looking to move into 6th here with a pass on Austin Belky.
Side by side, that's now for Vespana's car in the wall. That's the 23. That snap off the corner. Yeah, unfortunate for Dean, loses all the track position. Not bad damage, though. Looks like he may be able to keep going in the Pontiac Grand Prix.
Yeah, he'll be able to stay alive, but dang, was running so well trying to move up, and now that 98, one less car to worry about behind him as he just keeps on stacking up those machines in that rear view mirror right now. He continues to blow through the field.
Up to P6 now for Shepard at this point, and big slide up the track for Bulky in the 24. Nearly smacked the wall in the DuPont Chevrolet.
I've seen so many guys try to formulate a plan to keep up with this 98 car. I don't know how J.R. Shepard keeps so well control of his tires, because some drivers try to run that same line, that same braking pattern, and they just can't do it. And I think it's because even though that 98 is coming up through the field, he is just so good somehow at conserving those tires that guys can't run in those same tire tracks as him.
Yeah, this time by ran an 18.9. That was the quickest time by a tenth or so on the track, even faster than second and third. So Shepard, he's coming. If there's a caution flag, it could get really spicy with how things have separated. Mind you, it's about 4.6 seconds until he's up towards the leader.
I mean, he is the only guy running under a 19 right now on this entire field. Yeah, if he gets a caution, there's no telling what this Sunoco machine is going to be able to do.
Still trying to set up a pass, mind you, on Todd Liston. That's also Bruce Pearson in this grouping. For J.R. Shepard, talked about this a little bit in past events. Manufacturing engineer, 6 years of legend car racing experience in various different asphalt tracks in Tennessee. Helped his dad as well, racing dwarf cars on dirt for several years, where he got his passion for the sport and learned the basics of setting up a race car. And that's part of the key. Yes, fixed setup, but it also is key to figure out, okay, based on what this setup may have, how do I have to drive the car potentially?
And such a phenomenal resume in this series. You look across all the different, in this league, I should say, because you look across all the different series. He locked up championships number 40, 41, 42, and 43 last week in the Bootleg Racing League. And in this series alone, we've only had 22 races through 2 seasons. He has won 16 of them. Pure domination when it comes to not just these automobiles, but also just this league in general.
Side by side up in front of him, that's now 4th spot. Pearson stuck on the top line this time. And it looks like Liston maybe thinking have to run. Problem is the caution is out. Once again, it's Jeremy Harden, the 44, with significant front nose damage and a spin in the front.
Well, we'll take a look at the replay here. Harden running a little bit towards the back end of the field, trying to follow in Lowell Jewell's footsteps here. Coming off of turn 4, that's been a trouble spot for everyone. You see that rear end, and it's just so minor how these rear ends step out, and it's so late also. They're essentially already going straight, but man, the way that you go from, I mean, I think you're really still going uphill. It feels like you're still going uphill on the exit of 4, and then it feels like a roller coaster dip, just a small one right there, and that's what really lines up the car and lets the rear end just wipe out from under you.
At this point, what do you do as a driver to adjust? Because I've heard different ways of attacking that corner because of that said dip you were talking about.
And this is where me as a driver, I'm so flawed on just short tracks in general, specifically here, because what I do is I just get more conservative on the throttle on exit, but it's obviously not the right thing to do because there are guys who will still just blow by you running almost the exact same throttle. Maybe it's the braking, maybe they brake some more in the center of the corner. I haven't been able to figure out how some of these guys are so consistent for so long coming off of turn 4.
I've heard as well, drivers, if they try and say aim for the second set of dotted lines, just above the first set, that can also get the bit more of the stability to avoid that set dip and be able to build up a run, essentially off that middle line and diamond off the corner.
It does, but if you come off the corner too low, it even helps the rear end get out of line even more. And so it's a fine line there on off of turn number 4.
Takes a lot of precise movement, to say the very least. But to reset at the moment, Mike Holloway's in the lead. Morden, Lowe, Liston, Pearson, the top 5. And don't forget, Shepard is already up to 6th position after being as deep as 16th on a restart.
And we'll see how the outside line jumps off here. Holloway obviously did a great job on his 2 restarts, in the initial start, I should say. But last time, 2nd place just did not go on the start.
Very difficult to time it up, especially North Wilkesboro. The start box is very tiny, by about maybe half a car length from where the pace car drops and where you hit the accelerator before the green flag eventually comes out for body the flagman. By the way, live timing and scoring is available on GSRC.tv to keep track of where your favorite drivers and teams are throughout tonight's event. 56 laps to go, Holloway off and away, green flag once more. There, a good jump from Holloway. Better jump this time from Morden compared to the last one.
And look out for Shepard. He held up extremely well with Bruce Pearson trying to fight his way back into, or I guess for the first time tonight, into the top 5 as Liston floats up the track a little bit too much off of 4. Shepard still holding his own here on the outside.
Single file for the top 4, and then the first side-by-side just so happens to be where Shepard just made the pass on the outside. That was for 5th, and a caution is out. Menda in his 2nd caution of the race. No damage on the 45, but it's another caution triggered. This time had some help.
Well, I'm going to be a little worried on this restart if I'm Todd Liston, but we'll talk about that here in a second as we watch this replay here once again a little bit further back in the pack. Looks like Menda going to be the next lap here, but still running side by side here along with Michael Redding as they get just tight together. Might have been a little net code there, but Redding came a little bit off that inside groove, and that little bit of contact puts the 45 car in a loop.
So add a little more heat into those tires, to say the very least, so those formerly feel goods, not so feeling good potentially for the next half of the race. Redding as well having to come down for damage repair after that. But you mentioned Todd Liston not being the best of situations. In part, Liston will start at the top next restart. Guess who's on the bottom? Shepard, because that pass on Pearson.
Yeah, that's what I wouldn't want to see. Heck, if I'm low in the 99, I'm going, man, this guy again is already in my rear view mirror. You gotta be kidding me. Justin Moore has done a good job on the outside front row, so I don't think J.R. Shepard and I don't think even James Lowe are going to get this phenomenal jump unless they find a way to slam the accelerator just like Mike Holloway is doing. But they've done a good job so far, that top 3 gain into line, but I'm a little worried if I'm Todd Listing starting outside row 2. That has not been a good spot to restart from so far this race.
Indeed, at this point, we're going to go back to green at about 50 laps to go, dead on halfway in this event. And Holloway's done a great job of keeping this lead. The question is for how long, and the fastest driver in practice in the Dodge Charger, James Lowe, mind you, still holds on to the 3rd position. His 99 machine has been fairly quick as well, and the Hope for Heroes machine, the contractor from Portsmouth, Virginia. Coming to 1 to go this time by.
Yeah, we talked about J.R. Shepard, 16 career wins in this series. Justin Moore has 1. James Lowe has the remaining 5 wins in the series, the only 3 drivers to win in the Grand National Group for BRL, but Holloway right now putting on a great case to make himself number 4 to be a winner in this series.
He's held on very firmly for the past 40-plus laps. Can he keep holding on for the next 50? We'll see as the pace car drops off in turn 4 this time. Off to the gears, the Ford Fusion back off and away. And a much better start, the best of the night for Morton. Tries to power on the outside, nearly drifts up the track.
Has a chance here going into 3. He might be able to pinch Holloway a little bit to scrub off a little bit of that 2-car speed. Enters high, still high. Holloway, though, able to give him a bit of room. Also, Todd Liston had a great start on the outside as well. He still has Shepard contained on the inside of him.
Shepard boxed in now for the battle for 4th position, still behind the single file. James Lowe, but Morton wants to get the pass done for the lead on the outside. Caution is out, and several drivers bounce around. It's Bruce Pearson, the trigger.
It looks like Bobby Rafferty might have just got into that left rear quarter panel, and around goes tonight's pole sitter of Pearson. And boy, that is a tough one to swallow after starting on the pole. As we take a look here, they go into turn 1. As we take a look here from Bobby Rafferty, trying to get to the inside, has a little bit of a hole here. He's going to use it here, try to get around Pearson. Pearson, I don't know if he didn't see him there. Maybe the spotter didn't say something, but Rafferty, an aggressive move there. And it looks like Pearson just was not ready. Tried to move on down there.
So Pearson now shuffled to the back of the field as a result. Bobby Rafferty from Jim Beaver Esports now up to 7th with the caution flag. So with that, by the way, Shepard with the scoring loops did get up to 4th position. So it's now Holloway, Morton, Lowe, Shepard, Liston, the top 5. At this point, how do you handle the rest of this race if it continues to stay caution, precaution? Or, counterpoint, if we get another long run like we did for about 20 laps a few moments ago?
I think it primarily depends on how much tire have you already used up. We're looking right now at our gain and loss ratio here. Justin Morton, James Lowe, J.R. Shepard, Todd Liston have all come a way up from the field. Even Bobby Rafferty up 7 spots. But since those guys have come through the field, how much more tire have they used than Mike Holloway, who was almost up in cruise control, up in front for that long green flag run that you mentioned there? So I'm curious to see. We already talked about how Shepard is great at saving tires, but what about the rest of that top 5 who has moved up through the field? How much more tire do they have left over for these final 45 laps?
I think we're going to see in just a few moments or so, and Holloway trying as hard as he can, mind you, at the front of the field to keep heating the tires. And with the tire model, remember, the newest tire model in the iRacing service, the first awful machines to get it were these cars, the Grand Nationals that you're seeing tonight.
Yeah, and Morton's done a great job these past couple restarts. He keeps getting better and better restarting in 2nd, but man, it's just a tough task. We'll see if he can keep on doing it. And he's going to have some help behind him. J.R. Shepard's going to be telling him, go, buddy, go.
We'll see how this start goes. Holloway in control of the field, has had some good jumps. Morton's been able to time up his count. Will Holloway switch it up? Yes. Off and away, the earliest launch he's had of the night. Able to block in Morton on the top line.
Morton can't quite squeeze in James Lowe make sure the 9 car doesn't get in front of him, but didn't have the momentum coming off the corner. Now J.R. Shepard has a great run on the outside, trying to find his way around the 99, move himself into third, but we are still 2 wide, 4 rows deep behind the top 2.
Making out 3 rows deep as Shepard still powers his way on the top. Battle for the race lead. Morton finally able to get the bottom. First time he tries to make a pass down there. Will Holloway give him the space? Yes, he does on the entry to turn 3. Remember, Morton tried to make the pass for several laps on the top line. Couldn't get it done. Can he get it done to the bottom?
He just got a great run there. Now we're 2 by 2 for the first 2 rows here. Taking a look from J.R. Shepard outside of row 2, if you will. Justin Morton has a little bit of an edge here on Mike Holloway. 2 by 2 in front of him. It's tough, especially with James Lowe on the inside, but Morton will clear Holloway this time off of 4.
New race leader for the first time since the start of tonight's event. Now can Morton hold on as now 3 drivers look to fight behind. Low to the bottom side underneath Holloway. Holloway's now stuck on the top.
Look at the small gaggle just going at it, but that outside did not get nearly as much rubber as I was anticipating it would. Not quite enough grip there to put up enough of a fight, but now J.R. Shepard trying to take over Mike Holloway. And you got to wonder how much tire he's using up right now, trying to keep these guys behind him, having to use that outside line right now.
And right here is where Holloway seems to push up the track, that apex off in turn 3 and 4. That's where everyone's been able to make a pass since he lost that bottom line. Shepard, though, not having the most easy of jobs compared to the others. Caution is out behind him. Spin as several drivers crash. Jewel involved in the incident, as well as Altis, as well as a couple other drivers.
And I got a hot take there. The guy who didn't want to see that caution, James Lowe in second. He was keeping great pace with Morton. Whoa, big turnaround there. That was a major impact from Lowell Jewell there. Got a little bit of help there from that Jeff Gordon car there. Let's take a closer look off that bumper. Tight racing, and just gone to the rear end. It looked like Jewell might have had to get up off the gas a little bit there, and Belkey just wanted to keep that throttle down.
There's a difference between being on somebody's bumper and jacking them up to the point where the back tires lose grip. That was unfortunately the case for Jewell, and his car now demolished for the next 37 laps or so. But with that again, Morton the control car for the first time on the night. He had been fighting hard for that race lead for about 20 laps or so.
Yeah, I'm curious how James Lowe restarts on the outside here, but you know, someone who might benefit from this, Mike Holloway, he was stuck on that outside lane. Now he will restart second row inside. Might that be a little bit of help, but of course he'll have J.R. Shepard just staring over him on the outside of row number 2. So these 4, though, have definitely been the class of the field here tonight.
Still 2 to go this time by on the pace car at this point, and as well, here's something to chew on as well. Half the field has already came down and used their fast repair on the night. Drivers like Redding, Zagawa, Hardin, Rafferty, and Shepard are in that grouping. If anything happens up towards the front, especially with Shepard, that can really shake up how the rest of this race flows.
Absolutely, and these leaders here, I mean, once again, the restart. We've seen the outside get a great start. We've seen the inside get a great start. But we've never really seen that outside second row take off. So it'll be interesting to watch J.R. Shepard starting in that position, see if he can keep up with this front row.
To reset your top 10, Morton, Lowe, Holloway, Shepard, Liston, Moore, Dean, Rafferty, Bulkey, Smith round out the top 10. Of many of those drivers, +4 or more for Liston and Dean and Shepard. Lowe +5 with Morton, +6 for Rafferty on the night. Safety car coming down this time by the TDR machine. Waits on the throttle. Into the restart zone, stacks it up, off and away. Good launch for the green.
No one went. Nobody went there. Justin Morton flies away. An absolute disaster for Mike Holloway, who drops all the way down to 4th place. I thought he was going to get a great jump there, but now he is in the grasp of Todd Liston and Donnie Moore as J.R. Shepard either going to try to find a way down here and get in line with James Lowe, or he might keep on peeking on the outside.
And that got Shepard up to 3rd. He tries to dive in the corner, nearly lost the back end. What a save by Shepard.
That was tough. You got to imagine that his tires are almost all the way down because, man, he had to come up here through the pack. And now on board with J.R. Shepard, the two-time defending champion here in the season opener. He's got a little bit of a door open from James Lowe. There's a little bit of a gap there. We'll see if he can try to force this car in here. Still a lot of laps to go, though. We're coming to 31 to go here at North Wilkesboro.
You can just tell a lot of pressure along that tire in that car. Shepard up to the outside. Side by side for second. Low pitch down to the bottom this time.
Those tires are going to be on their threads when this race is over. Can we get a virtual camera over there to look at those threads on those tires? He's getting so loose off of 2. Low gets loose on entry of 1, and it's smooth sailing away for J.R. Shepard.
Caution.
And he has his sights. Oh, man.
Kurt Smith spun around in the 6 car.
Oh, tough one for him. I've seen him have a lot of bad luck in this league, was running top 10. And now gets turned around here in that Mark Martin throwback.
Mind you, it knocked the toe out of the left front tire with some damage to the front nose. But right here, car just gave away the whole exit.
Yeah, that's a tough one there. Turn 4 has just taken so many victims here tonight in the Bootleg Racing League Grand National Series. Boy, I was excited to see if J.R. Shepard could put a hunt on there for Justin Morton, but instead now he will start outside row number 1 here.
Once again, scoring loops, the best friend of J.R. Shepard tonight. Now at this point, what do you do if you're Morton? Because this is now where I think you have to be up on the wheel.
I mean, all you can do here is hope that you get the same restart that you got last time. It felt like everyone was sleeping, and he got a phenomenal jump. I mean, that's all that you can hope for, but maybe throw a little bit of what Mike Holloway did there. Hit that accelerator at a different time than you have been the past couple restarts. Holloway got away with a great jump doing that we saw earlier, so maybe that's something where he's thinking right now, okay, where do I punch that gas at? Try to get the 98 off his rhythm and get a good jump going into turn number 1.
See how this all shakes out as the driver's getting ready to double them up. Lights are still on for the time being, though, for the 2 to go signal. So essentially, the map says 25 laps to go at this point, with the wheels turning in your head. Again, if you're any of the error drivers at this point, what do you do? Because if anything happens between Morton and Shepard, let's say, the door's wide open.
I still think Todd Liston is in a great spot right now, sitting in 5th. He'll restart 3rd row inside. He has been extremely just consistent so far in this race. He's come up from 10th to 5th. But how about another shout out here? The 77 of Bobby Rafferty from 14th and already now into 6th place. So a couple of guys who started 10th and 14th will be starting in row number 3 for this restart.
A good run so far for the mechanic and fabricator from the state of New York. +8 for the dirt racer with Jim Beaver Esports. And still, Light State on top of the pace car. Looks like an hour extra lap here this time to make it now what could be a 24-lap dash to the finish. And now the concern has to come into, again, we talked about the tires. For some of these drivers, they're right at the very edge of their tire life.
Oh, I don't doubt that at all. Look at the 98. I mean, he's been loose every single time off of turn number 2, which isn't supposed to be the hard one. You're supposed to be able to keep that car straight. I mean, I would think that if he can get in front of Morton quick enough, he won't have a problem staying in front of him. But if it takes too many laps, I'm worried. And we talked about how well that 98 car does conserve tires, but man, he had to climb through this field. I'm really concerned if he doesn't get by Morton quick, he might not be able to keep up eventually.
Morton, Shepard, Lowe, Holloway, Liston, Rafferty in the first 3 rows. Dean and Moore in row 4. Menda and Bulky round out the top 10. Pace car off and away. Morton this time a little bit earlier. Liston with that tire spin, but the top 2 side by side. Shepard tries to take the lead hard.
Phenomenal restart for J.R. Shepard, even out of turn number 2. Saw the jump, read it perfectly. He has a nose ahead going into 3, and these 2 have ran away from the field off that restart.
They nailed it perfectly. Shepard gets a nose ahead towards the stripe, led that time by 7/1000ths of a second. Can he get clear trying to rim ride on the top side? Good momentum down the back. Morton sends it again on the bottom side in 3.
The outside lane has finally come in. Almost everyone on the outside lane able to make a fight for position, but Lowe able to clear Holloway for the 3rd position right now. And now Shepard with a run off of 2 might be able to clear. Morton, the caution comes out. It doesn't matter. New leader, the 98.
And another caution helping with the positioning. 3 drivers stuck together. That was Bulky locked up with Rain as well as Menda all alongside that outside wall. And we're back in our yellow. Just look at that.
Looks like the Xfinity Series race I just finished watching at Talladega not too long ago. We got cars just piling up everywhere here as we are on board with Austin Belke a little bit high here. And that rear end whips around. Might have had a little bit of help from behind there.
Yeah, Menda also pushed up the track, broke a bit of the axle you've seen for a moment there. Redding also with significant front nose damage. And that puts us back in caution. They're now 14th through 16th. But now
boy, it's been a tough day for that 45 car.
Yeah, several spins, and now a broken right front, as you can see.
Yeah, this one's been tough for that STP car. The left rear isn't even on the ground right now. Good luck restarting with that. Yeah, that car, I don't even know if you could point that straight if you tried.
You talk about twisted sister cars with the Grand National machines back in the late 2000s.
Yes, exactly.
That's the most twisted I've seen in a while, to the point where looks like Menda banked the faster pair, and all of a sudden that car launching from the air to the track again.
What a strategy there. What a strategy. Able to have that faster pair here at the end, because boy, that thing was beat up.
That's why you bank it. That's
exactly.
Why you bank it.
If you can keep it on 4 tires, right, then you don't need a faster pair. We'll wait on that, and boy, he waited for the right time.
Absolutely. We'll see if he's able to recover positions after the 3rd spin of the race. But again, a reset. Shepard, Morton, Lowe, Holloway, Rafferty inside the top 5. As these drivers line up once again, keep in mind there are plenty of different races in BRL competition. Friday nights, the Dirt Street Stock Series takes the track on the Global SimRacing Channel presented by the Cruise Shop and Jim Beaver Esports. That's every Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. They're in Season 4 with Season 2 action for the Dirt Sprint Car Series taking place for the series at 9:25 Eastern. Saturday, it's been a busy evening for some of these competitors who have raced in the various different BRL competitions. Street Stock Series came to the track at 7. The SK Modified at 7:50. Now that card all wrapped up with these Grand National Series machines, it's a busy series for those who are learning for the first time about BRL in lots of competitions and strong drivers.
And some of these guys do race all 5 series in a single weekend. They even had a Legend Series that they're not running this season, but they did run it last season. And so some of these guys, it's just a long weekend. These guys legitimately come fresh out of that SK Modified Series, and they ran here at North Wilkesboro. Who won that race? Well, that was the guy who's in the lead right now, J.R. Shepard, looking to go a couple of wins here at North Wilkesboro for the first time in BRL's history.
To put it lightly, J.R. Shepard's the type of person who you would call a short track ace on the iRacing service. In any type of series, in any type of car, if it's in a short track, you're likely going to see Shepard inside the top 10.
Now he got his first career dirt street stock win too at Kokomo, so he's been doing it on the dirt as well.
16 laps to go. We'll see if Shepard can get the job done tonight to open the campaign. Up and away, the Ford Fusion brings him to the green.
Cronin have asked for a better jump there. Easily clears Justin Morton, who now has to put on Chase Bow for the 4th position now as Bobby Rafferty looks to the inside of Mike Holloway.
Now that's for the 4th spot, and that's just changed hands in the upper corner of the screen. And again, always bad luck charm has been the top line in 3 and 4 to the point where it looks like the right front has just been burned up on the 2.
Yeah, he can't even hold the inside line, it looks like, anymore, as Brian Dean is on the inside of him, and that's something that you hate to see, is seeing that car on the left side of your window. Ooh, oh man, I thought that was a little bit sideways, but that's just him going downhill right there out of 4, caution. And we have another caution flag out.
And it's Jewel again. This time he's stuck in the wall. So that might be night done for the 19 in that Dodge. Let's see what happened here. Driving the Stone River Outfitters machine tonight. And got a little help. That was Menda again.
It has been a hard night for some of these guys racing here at North Wilkesboro. Such a difficult track. And boy, for a few of these guys, I don't think they're looking forward to coming back to this track.
Looks like a chain reaction for the helicopter cam there, where it looked like check up that time from the Father's Day car of Sagawa. That was also contact with Redding before that hit in spin with Menda.
So how about a little bit of history here? We've had a few cautions, so let's get a little bit of fun fact here. How these cars are now the ARCA Impalas. ARCA with the acquisition, kind of the K&N series, the regional NASCAR series. This is now the ARCA series on iRacing. And actually, ARCA ran here 1 year back in 1980. Phil Parsons actually won the race from the pole, and so now being named the ARCA series, ARCA does actually have a one-race history here at North Wilkesboro.
Yeah, and that's the interesting part. Again, we talked about it a little bit with so many different tracks. When this track had its second life in the 2000s, held races such as the Labor Day Classic, the Bushy Mountain 250, the King's Ransom 300, where many different short track racers came to the track. Some of the notables, Tower Hill has been someone in the headlines recently. Cale Gale, someone who won at Homestead after a battle with Kyle Busch. And of course, don't forget drivers that are rising up to the ranks and some of the notable drivers in that grouping, including many such as Chase Elliott, who took part in that Labor Day Classic in 2010.
Yeah, and that's cool for some of those young guns to be able to have some experience at such a colorful track like this. So much character we already mentioned, and it's just a tough track. If you can find a way to run well here at North Wilkesboro, that just goes to show your dexterity that you have, being able to control your car on so many different kinds of platforms, going uphill and downhill on corner exit, which is just such a staple when it comes to a good short track racer.
Under 10 to go when we go back under green to this point. If you're anybody outside Shepard, what do you do to win this race?
You got to get a great jump, because so far J.R. Shepard has blown this field away. If you don't get a good start here, I don't really think it matters what else you do. You're not going to get the win away from the 98 car. He has shown his tires are just as good as about anyone else on this track. But I do want to give another shout out here to Bobby Rafferty. He will now be starting on the outside of row number 2. So that 77 car is now already back up to 4th.
And this is one of the first times personally I've seen Rafferty, if not the first time on the pavement, tried to run in the E-Racer GG Firecracker 400 qualifiers just this past weekend. Of course, that hosted by Parker Quiggerman and Landon Castle's organization. Fortunately, did not have some of the luck he needed in that. Looking for some luck here as Shepard right to brace to the green flag with 8 to go. Again, Shepard, Morden, Lowe, Rafferty, all the way inside the top 5. Dean, Liston, Moore, Pearson, Hart in the top 10. Pace car off. Green flag is out. Another good launch for the 98.
Now all you can do, Lowe has a little bit of an advantage here on Justin Moore, but that outside lane has gotten a little bit of extra jump as Rafferty finds some of that momentum on the outside lane. Now he challenges the orange 99 for the 3rd place position. Can Justin Morton keep up with this 98 machine? The gap is already to a 1/3 of a second.
Going away with an extra half a car length as you look on board. This is Rafferty. Good run down the backstretch. Charges hard. Later braking in the Ford Fusion. Hard rush from the bottom side. Low nearly doored him, but able to get clear as Rafferty.
Into the 3rd position, had a great run in the Dirt Street Stock race. That was a wild finish last night, but then capped off the night with a sprint car win here in BRL. Now looking at a podium for himself here in the Grand National Series.
An impressive run for the Jim Bieber Esports machine. Someone with various different championships in many different parts of short track racing in the late part of the last decade. Now, though, Shepard running away under 5 laps to go, coming to 4. Gap is 6/10.
Yeah, J.R. Shepard, how does he do it? Had to come through the field. He was at 16th place after hitting the wall only about 8 laps into this race, and now his gap over the field is over 6/10 of a second, and it might even grow because it looks like Bobby Rafferty is gaining on the 9 car of Justin Morton for second.
3 laps to go. Still growing the gap. Fastest lap last time by, set by Shepard in the 18.7s. Quickest laps have been 2/10 lower than that. Rafferty to the bottom of the racetrack in P2. Morton got loose down the back. Rafferty up to second. He passes his dirt mate with 2 to go.
How about the Jim Beaver Esports guy moving himself into second, and now the 99 of James Lowe trying to follow. Couldn't quite find a grip on the inside, though. That 77 car, how about his run here at North Wilkesboro from 14th to 2nd?
A heck of a run tonight for Rafferty, but the white flag is out. 1 lap to go at North Wilkesboro. J.R. Shepard, the back-to-back champion, starts off season 3 in one of the remarkable stories. Was 16th early in the race. He wins at North Wilkesboro. Rafferty second. Morden rounds out the top 3. Lowendean finish inside the top 5. What a run.
Yeah, what a run for both of these guys. So, I mean, I know Bobby Rafferty started 14th overall, but, I mean, the 98 had about 10 less laps to come through the field from 2 spots further back, makes his way through the pack, leads towards almost the complete final quarter of that race, and picks up win number 20, or excuse me, in the 23rd race of the Grand National Series history, win number 17.
Shepard burning it on down. He wins the opening race of the season of BRL competition for the Grand National Series at North Wilkesboro. We'll be back with post-race coverage after this quick break. You're watching the Global SimRacing Channel, live from North Wilkesboro. Welcome back to North Wilkesboro for post-race coverage of the Bootleg Racing League Grand National Series for the season opener for the 3rd campaign of 2020. Let's take a look at your race results as J.R. Shepard came away with the victory, was as far back as 16th on a restart. After spinning early in this race and having to use a faster pair, he recovered to win by 7/10. Bobby Rafferty, one of the storylines of the night, charged up from 14th to 2nd over the span of the race in the Jim Beaver Esports machine. Justin Morden rounded out the top 3. They'll join us for post-race coverage in a few moments. James Lowe rounded out the top 4 with Brian Dean coming home in 5th from 11th spot. Mike Holloway, he led some laps, but eventually burned out the right front tire and dropped to 6th. Todd Liston finished in 7th, Donnie Moore in 8th, with Bruce Pearson in 9th. Jeremy Harden quietly ran from 16th up to 10th to round out that grouping, Devin.
Kurt Smith brings it home in 11th. Austin Belkey 12th. Joe Segala comes home in 13th. Ruben Altice 14th. And then just some bad luck tonight for guys like Jason Mendel, Michael Redding, and Lowell Jewell rounding out your field here at North Wilkesboro.
It was J.R. Shepard who had to put in a lot of work to come away with this victory and had a bit of luck several times with the timings of caution flags and scoring loops. But J.R. Shepard is joining us in the broadcast booth. How does it feel to win at North Wilkesboro to start off a new season?
Oh, that's extremely cool. First time racing at North Wilkesboro this weekend. So yeah, it's a cool track. It's very unique. The entrances of the corners are a lot different than what we normally run. So it's a bit of a challenge, but these cars are fun to run, and it was definitely fun tonight.
We mentioned you had to put in work. You were involved in one of the early caution flags and had to take a faster pair, but charged up from 16th all the way to first by about 20 laps to go. Talk us through the process, what was going through your head as you had to fight your way back through all the traffic to win this race.
Yeah, I knew at that point that I was just going to have to save my tires. Tires are going to be critical, especially the rear tires, because they burn off so easily coming off the corner. So I knew that I was going to have to take care of those, and I wasn't planning on taking the faster pair. I had good track position and went down into the corner, and the suspension was messed up, so wasn't able to turn the car and had to take it. But yeah, cautions played a big part tonight. Without those cautions, I don't think I would have gotten the lead.
You mentioned some of the difficulty of racing at a track such as this. What were some of the things you had to adjust your driving style to adapt to the 1987 version of North Wilkesboro?
Well, this track's very slick getting into the corner. So you want to dive into the corner as hard as you can, but at the same time, you don't want to wear the rear tires out by getting the car loose. So it's a give and take process getting down into the corner, and once you get down into the corner, making sure that you let the car rotate a little bit before you start to get back on the throttle, because it'll flat burn the tires off. So you've got to act like you got an egg underneath that throttle, otherwise you're going to be in trouble.
Love that analogy, to say the very least. It's a common one, but it's one that fits perfectly for this racetrack. Speaking of racetracks, next one is Five Flags. Your thoughts on going there on June the 27th?
It's probably my worst track. I don't know why I like that track as far as driving it, but there's just something about racing around it I haven't figured out 100% yet. So we'll go give it a try, try some different stuff and different lines, and see if it helps out or not.
Anyone you want to thank for being a part of your victory tonight in that Sunoco Ultra machine?
Yeah, I don't have a sponsor. Still looking for one if anybody wants to come on board, but definitely want to thank the Crew Shop for everything that they do with the Bootleg Racing League. They make it possible for us to be able to race each and every weekend, and to have a great broadcast by GSRC. So really appreciate everything that they do.
Congratulations on the victory tonight. It's been a dominant time for you in this series. Make it 17 now victories in your career in this competition in this series.
That's pretty cool, man. I really appreciate it. It's been a lot of fun.
J.R. Shepard having fun and coming away with a victory tonight. But one of the storylines of the night, dirt racer Bobby Rafferty charging up from 14th to 2nd. A heck of a run. He's with Devin.
Boy, what a BRL weekend for Bobby Rafferty. A great run in the Dirt Street Stock Series, winning the Dirt Sprint Car race. Then come here today, 12th to 2nd in the SK Modifieds, 14th to 2nd in the Grand National Series. Bobby, just how stressful were you in this sim the past 2 nights, man, running through fields?
Hey, you know what? It's all a lot of fun, honestly. It's definitely a little bit stressful in the Grand National car because I'm definitely a rookie in these cars, but to actually get, I ended up 2nd place in the Pavement Street Stock tonight too. So overall, it's been a really good weekend. I have no complaints. What happened on Friday night in the Dirt Street Stock happened. We'll move on to next week. Put myself in a little bit of a hole there, but the other 4 series, we're 2nd place in points in 3 of them, and we're leading points in the other one. So, hey, it's a pretty good start to the season. We'll see a lot of weeks. We'll see how it goes.
And looking just here at tonight, this track is just so difficult. The corner exits, everything. How are you able to conserve enough tire to bring yourself up in those late race cautions and come from 14th all the way up to 12th through the field?
Last week at South Boston, which honestly is a track that I really do not like, was an eye opener to me. I thought I was conserving tires and being so new to these Grand National cars. It was a rude awakening for me of, hey, slow down. You really got to conserve. So I focused real hard on trying to make sure I was lifted nice and early, getting off both pedals, not trail braking to heat up that right front to wear it out, and just roll the center of the corner, a nice and easy eggshell off the corner. But especially off of 4, it fits my driving style because I'm used to driving a loose race car in sim and as well as in real life. I've always liked a free car, so it kind of suited my driving style tonight.
A great weekend of finishes for you in that Jim Beaver esports machine. Who do you got to thank for these performances here these past couple days on GSRC?
First and foremost, I got to thank the Bootleg Racing League for putting this on. You guys as well for broadcasting it for us, the Cruise Shop. I got to give a huge shout out to my team, number one, for myself, but number two for coming on board as a series sponsor on Friday nights on the dirt side. Jim Beaver, I can't even talk. I'm so worn out after all those laps. Jim Beaver Esports, General Tire, Polaris Razor, Vision Wheel, Rigid Industries LED Lighting, Dirt Fist, GSP XTV Axles, Gibson Performance Exhaust, Acronis, 07 Designs, our in-house painter, Matt Everhart, makes us look phenomenal everywhere we go, as well as Bobby Sant and Sans Racing Fabrications. He makes some of the best rigs out there, regular steel welded up rigs, as well as 80/20 rigs. If you guys haven't, go and check out the website at sansracingfab.com. He's got a lot of really, really nice stuff from rigs to monitor stands, and he's going to be coming out with a lot of other really cool stuff that I can't quite say yet, but just keep an eye out for it.
Putting on a show on GSRC these past couple of nights. Bobby Rafferty coming home in second. Thanks for joining us, and of course, a big congrats.
Thank you again, guys. We really appreciate everything you guys do for us, and we'll hope you guys stick around because like I said, we all really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Hey, it's easy to have fun when you guys put on some great shows, so it's been a really fun time over here with BRL. Well, now we bring in our third place finisher, Justin Moore, and is now caught up with Justin Prince.
Yes, indeed. And Justin, a very impressive night tonight. Fought for the race lead, led some laps. How are you feeling?
Yeah, I was feeling pretty good outside of the car being quite loose off. I was struggling with the entire race, but yeah, I quite like the track.
Few drivers have now mentioned that they were dealing with that looseness. How was it trying to balance that out and trying to hold on to the car?
Yeah, in practice, I could not figure it out. It just seemed kind of random to me. But I don't know, in the race, I kind of just tried to back off a little bit. I think JR mentioned drive with an egg under your throttle. I was definitely trying to do that.
Talk about your thoughts as you were trying to battle for that race lead, because you had some hard fights with Holloway, as well as hard fights trying to hold off Shepard as he tried to charge back through the field.
Yeah, I knew JR was working back through that field. I knew he was probably going to have better tires than me because he's so good at saving tires all the way through the race, and it blows me away every week. But yeah, once he got on my outside on that one restart and got the jump on me, I kind of knew it was a bit over there.
Next race is at Five Flags. Your thoughts on going to that racetrack? A tough one as well.
Yeah, I quite like Five Flags. I had a pretty good run there last season. Probably one of my favorite short tracks out there, so look forward to it.
Anyone you want to thank for being a part of your top 3 run tonight?
I'd like to thank my team, Total Downforce Racing, Black Box, OpenWheelers.com, Pixel Dust for the amazing paint. Thanks Slow for running the league, Cruise Shop for sponsoring the series. We really appreciate it, and thank you guys for broadcasting.
Thank you very much for the time. Congratulations on the third place finish tonight to start off the new campaign.
Thank you.
That was Justin Morton coming home in third. I'd like to thank him, Bobby Rafferty, and J.R. Shepard for joining us for post-race coverage here on the Global SimRacing Channel. Now, your final thoughts on how this race developed tonight here, Devin, before we say goodbye.
Well, this is just such a fun track, and having this as the season opener, it was previously Stafford, but man, this was just so much fun in this series. I mean, it's 11 straight short tracks, so you're going to see similar issues. The conservation of tires, having that egg under the throttle. So if you guys are new to this series, I mean, it's almost like this every single weekend, except I'd say a little bit less caution sometimes. It's just this track is so difficult, and these drivers are just so good and so much fun to watch. I'm just looking forward to calling this entire 11-week span with you.
Remember, there are also 2 drop weeks for the championship. The question's going to be who will fly on this race. But the next one is at Five Flags. Your thoughts on that track?
It's just another really tight track. It's a little bit smaller. You're not really going to have quite as much give when it comes to if you're pushing up the corners. So being able to stick in that rubber is going to be really, really important. We saw these guys really be able to fan out today in the corners. You're not going to have that luxury when we come back next Saturday night.
Indeed, we'll see how the racing goes then. But before we say goodbye, we'd like to thank you for tuning in for tonight's exciting action from North Wilkesboro in the Blast from the Past. We'd also like to thank Bootleg Racing League for organizing this exciting series, as well as the Crew Shop. Call them today at 260-755-6125. Some exciting racing tonight. We'd like to thank the companies that provide the software and hardware for broadcasts for such as this one tonight, listed up on your screen. Additional thanks go to Jude Lawn, who provides her wonderful music. See the screen for how to get a hold of more of her great work. Thanks to the team once again tonight in Devin and Sean. If you'd like to find out more about GSRC, including the upcoming races, you can find it at globalsimracingchannel.com. If you'd like to help support the channel, you can check out our merchandise for sale at gsrc.storempy.com or check out our social media on Twitter at GSR Channel, Facebook at Global SimRacing Channel, and Instagram GSRC_Graham. Don't forget to head over to our YouTube page and hit that big red subscribe button, as well as the notification bell so you don't miss a moment on the Global SimRacing Channel. As discussed, the next race on the campaign, we'll see how momentum's carried to Five Flags Speedway, the home of the Snowball Derby. Once again, that's at 9 p.m. Eastern Time start time for that coverage here on the Global SimRacing Channel. We also have many upcoming races for other series listed up on your screen. A action-packed weekend. Be sure to mark those down on your calendar. But until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.